Greetings! My name is Diana and I'm from DivineFractal.com, and today I'd like to introduce you to a wonderful website called OfficialFirstContact.com. On this website they have several free downloads. One of them is Telepathy 101, a primer for the gift of infinite voice. This is written by Teeny, Sue Walker, and the Reverend White Otter. And I'd like to just go ahead and read this for you. So this is Teeny. And Teeny helped them put this together. She explains that they are here to prepare Earth for official first contact. And in order to facilitate that process, we need to practice our telepathy skills. Now then, before we get into the heart of this Telepathy 101 course, we want to talk about just a couple of things up front. We are not here to prove to you that telepathy exists. We assume you already accept that fact. We treat the subject of telepathy as an everyday normal thing. For us, telepathy is a skill just like any other skill. With practice and feedback, your abilities improve. We're here to teach you what works, so let's get started. First, let's talk a little about what telepathy really is. It's not just a voice in your head. That's what you've learned from movies and television. Telepathy comes to you in images, emotions, symbolic concepts, as well as words and phrases. Telepathy can also contain direction and distance, as well as other details about the sender. You'll learn telepathy faster and easier if you go with your strengths and build on whatever works. What do we mean by that? Everyone's learning style is just a little different. Some folks remember things easier if they see it, others if they hear it, and still others if they put their hands on it. Just like you learn anything ever, you will learn your telepathy faster and easier if we gear your training to your learning style. That just makes common sense. So first, let's figure out your learning style. Think back to when you were last in school. Did you learn best when you saw the information? Was it easier to remember if you learned it that way? If so, you're a visual learner. Did you learn and memorize things easier by hearing the information? If that's the case, you're an auditory learner. If it's much easier to learn or remember things when you touch or manipulate them with your hands, you're a kinesthetic learner. Those of you who are always in motion or need to experience things in three-dimensional space, like an athlete or a dancer, are called spatial learners. Why is any of this important? Because if you cater your telepathy training directly to your own personal learning style, you'll get farther faster and easier. So how do you do that? First, it's very possible that you fall into more than one of these learning style categories. Let's talk about each one of these briefly. Make a note of anything that sounds like you. Visual. If you learn best by seeing, you are innately a visual learner. Telepathic information will tend to come to you easiest in images. Ultimately, you'll be able to telepathically send images easier than others as well. Telepathic prompts for you are an inner instinct to suddenly either turn your head or your whole body around to look at something a second time. Your peripheral vision is important and will often provide you with input that your frontal vision does not, because it cannot. It doesn't have the same wiring. Practice working with your peripheral vision and trusting it much more. For you visual folks, while working in an open-eyed alpha state, watch for things that draw your eyes or visually cue you. What do we mean by alpha? We're talking about a naturally slower brainwave state. When you're in alpha, you're much more receptive telepathically. How do you know if you're in alpha? When you're slightly sleepy, daydreamy, or in a timeless state. You can call it whatever you want. Some call it the groove. Others refer to it as the zone. While others just instinctively reach for something to help wake them back up. When you're in alpha, you're much more receptive telepathically. Pay attention. There's going to be a test. Become much more aware of and pay attention. Pay attention to the things that pop into your head when you're in that timeless state. That goes for everyone. We'll say it again because it's important. When you get daydreamy, slightly sleepy, or do anything that gives you that timelessness feel, pay attention to the things that randomly pop into your head. Are you paying attention yet? Those stray thoughts you have when you're in alpha. Those stray thoughts may not be random little events or imagination. They just might be your own natural telepathic reception working for you exactly when it works best, when you're in alpha. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Let's get back to our topic of the different learning styles: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and spatial. Auditory. If you learn best by hearing, you're considered an auditory learner. For you auditory folks, sounds and vibrations will trigger your telepathic awareness easier. Are you always the one saying, "Did you hear that?" Or "Did you feel that?" and nobody else did? Auditory learners and telepaths pick up on very subtle vibrational changes and often can distinguish and dissect shifts in tone or frequency that others just can't. If you're constantly hearing things others do not, or feeling vibrations others miss, put yourself into this auditory category. Auditory learners are often audiophiles. It's not unusual for them to listen to something over and over, picking up different nuances each time. We also notice that auditory telepathists often surround themselves with sound much more than others, as if they're trying to create a kind of constant white noise barrier. We suspect that some auditory telepathists do this because they pick up so much, they're subconsciously trying to drown out that connection. For you, just listening can put you into the timelessness zone of telepathic receptivity. And listening to repetitive sounds in nature can really put you in that telepathically receptive alpha state. As a side note, auditory learners who are storytellers, musicians, and performers will often develop their telepathic ear that recognizes distinct new telepathic voices faster. Kinesthetic. If you learn best through touch, you are considered a tactile or kinesthetic learner. Anything that stimulates your skin, fingers, or hair will be your trigger. Kinesthetic learners often like to take these things apart and see how they work more than others. Do not touch signs make kinesthetic learners bristle inside. The instinctive inner frustration happens because in order to fully understand something, you just want to handle it. Entering alpha and seeking those stray thoughts and telepathic feelings as you are holding an object, a person, or even a space is easier for you than others. Because they reach out to you physically, touch people or animals, kinesthetic telepaths most often make the strongest empaths. Your telepathic, empathic understanding can come just as easily through your hands, or your hair, or your whole body. Kinesthetic telepathics and empaths are also those who pick up the vibe of locations easier than others. Spatial movement. If you learn best while you're moving, you are a spatial learner. Athletes and dancers, as well as those who struggle to sit still, fall into this category. Movement is the key to your telepathy. You need to move and watch for any motion that takes place around you from any source. Repetitive motions put you into an alpha very quickly. You enter into the zone when you move doing anything over and over. You spatial learners more often fall into sort of a telepathic hunter-gatherer group. You folks tend to utilize all your input in a whatever telepathically works fashion. Most Earth humans are mutts instead of pure breeds when it comes to telepathic learning styles and perception skills. Most of you receive your multisensory input in a variety of ways, not just one. Can you be primarily a visual telepath with a dash of kinesthetics thrown in? Sure. Keeping a journal. We recommend getting a spiral notebook to use as your telepathic dream paranormal journal. Keep it in easy reach of where you sleep, open to the next blank page with a pen ready. We want you to be able to grab it in the dark and write without having to even turn the light on. Record everything you recall from your dreams. Journal all your unusual experiences every day. Note any and all sent and received telepathic pings. All entries need to have the date, time, and include a detailed description along with the phase of the moon. After 100 days or more, look back and see if you can begin to find your own patterns. Let's shift gears and talk about your brain for a bit. Every single day you naturally shift from beta, awake and alert, into alpha, sleepy and dreamy. See how alpha sits right in the middle between gamma, really awake, and delta, really sleepy. Beta equals waking consciousness, or your everyday awake, aware, going on about your day rhythm. Alpha equals a slower rhythm where you feel slightly sleepy or daydreamy, spacey, or timeless. In alpha state, you're more receptive telepathically and more accurate. You shift naturally from beta to alpha 5 times every day. Waking up, that feeling when you're just waking up and not quite here yet. Mid-morning yawns, the feeling of needing another cup of coffee, so to speak. Mid-afternoon yawns, that after lunch need to digest and I could just use a nap feeling. Mid-evening yawns, yep, my body's telling me it's almost bedtime, I'm feeling the slows. Falling asleep, as you drift from awake into deepening sleep. Pay attention to these things that come to you while you're in this daydreamy alpha state. Your telepathic reception is naturally running much stronger then. The more time you proactively choose to put yourself into alpha, the faster you'll develop your telepathy. Repetitive activities and no-brainer automatic pilot type daily chores can all shift you into alpha. So will creative things that take you into a timeless place, like music, painting, or just about any artistic creative activity. You all know learning any new skill in everyday life takes regular practice and feedback because you are literally rewiring your brain's connections. Learning telepathy is no different. Find ways to practice your telepathy for a minimum of 30 minutes a day in a way that also gives you immediate telepathic feedback. But here's the best part. The more fun you have with your practice, the faster you'll improve. That's because during fun and play, your bodies make a different brain chemistry, which causes the creation of new neurological connections, i.e. learning, to be laid down faster and easier. Telepathy practice ideas. We're sure you can come up with better ones after reading these. You mean we have homework? If your cell phone beeps while someone is leaving you a message, before you pick it up, determine anything you can about the caller, the emotions, or anything concerning content of the message. Play an old-fashioned game of cards. Agree ahead of time that good-natured telepathic cheating is not only allowed, but encouraged for practice purposes, and then go have fun. Make a telepathic playdate and keep track of your accuracy together throughout the day. How long can you operate on telepathy alone? Great practice for a group of adults or kids is telepathic hide and seek. Adults, you better watch out. The kids are usually really good at this one. You all have to work at getting to a place of emotional honesty. This is especially true for all of you out there who were taught to shut down or stuff your feelings. Experience has shown that you'll get a big telepathic jump up when you shift from cognitive awareness in your head to conscious awareness in your heart. If you want to get good at your telepathy, you have to fully embrace all your emotions. Full emotional honesty with yourself is not optional in telepathy. It's required. That's when things will suddenly become much clearer. Guys, if you want to find your true emotional balance, you have to respect and embrace your intuitive, creative, feminine side. Gals, if you want to find your telepathic balance, you have to develop your fortitude, inner strength, and emotional male side. Learn to wear your telepathic connection like a loose-fitting garment. Become aware you are a receiver that's always turned on. Have your telepathic ear gently tuned in and running in the background for longer and longer periods of time each and every day. We suggest you plan on working up to walking telepathically connected 24/7, 365. It may take you a year or several years if you don't have time to devote to it because of your 9-to-5 job, but that's okay. Progress according to your own schedule. Remember, you're seeking personal progress, not perfection. You will make mistakes. That's okay. It's just part of the process of learning. We have another brain-related topic to add to your telepathic training: background and foreground thoughts. What do you mean? You already know you can read a book and listen to music at the same time. Your brain can do that multitasking. You can also learn to pay attention to your background thoughts, the ones that are always running and quietly whispering things to you in the back of your head. Decide to give them more awareness like you do your regular thoughts. Give yourself a greater chance to hear these quieter background thoughts through regular practice. This is the end of part 1. Come on back for part 2.